And now, without further ado, please welcome the honoree of the 2018 Sundance Institute Vanguard Award presented by Acura, Boots Riley.
I never won an award before, except for karaoke contest. I got most well-intentioned. So, working in the music industry for 20-something years, the way I've had to do it was very much, I didn't feel like I had a team, really. I had to fight and make different things happen, and if it wasn't gonna happen, if I didn't do it, I worried that it wasn't gonna happen. And with Sundance, it was the first time I felt like people were actually doing things for me when I wasn't even asking them to do it, right? Like once I joined the Screenwriters Lab, and it really, it felt freeing. It felt like I could come up with ideas and, you know, bounce them off of people. And I had a team, a family of creative folks that were looking out for me, that weren't just giving me notes or critiques based on what they thought they were going to make from it or anything like that. And it was a crazy experience to be in the labs, to also then have Sundance's stamp of approval, to where I could be like, all right, motherfuckers, this is real. It's happening. Because believe me, coming up to people, you know, as a musician and saying I got a script, that, you know, nobody wants to hear that. No, nobody at all. They're like, yeah, of course you want to make a movie. You probably want to get a line of shoes, and you want you want to get a barbecue chain or something like that. You know, the quality is suspect. And so to get Sundance on board really is what, not only did they get on board, but they introduced me to everybody that invested in this movie. Through the creative producing summit that a couple of the producers went to, and then through the Catalyst program. So very literally, this movie wouldn't have gotten made without Sundance. And obviously, it took a long time. I finished writing it. I got to the end the first time in 2012. We published it as its own paperback book in McSweeney's in 2014. So it's been a long time. Unfortunately, the world hasn't changed enough to make the movie irrelevant. But that is why, you know, unlike a lot of Hollywood projects, it is of the time. It's of the movements that are going on right now. And you know, I don't want to talk too much about the film, because the reason I'm making the film is because people get bored of speeches. And so I don't want to do that. But I do want to thank the people who stood up and said, I'm down with this. Like, yeah, this is a movie that we haven't seen before. And that in filmmaking, sometimes for investors, that means that we are not doing that. But these are people that came up and really stood for it. I have this written down because I will forget people. It's not everybody that helped in the film, because that probably would fill up even more than this theater. But you know, the producers, Charles King, Nina Yang Bon Jovi, George Rush, Caroline Kaplan, Forrest Whitaker, Poppy Hanks, Kim Roth, Gus Deardoff, Sundance with Carrie Putnam and Michelle Satter, and everybody, first of all, everybody who's in the movie, stand up. Who's in the movie. Who, if we can see your face in the movie, stand up. You know, Lakeith Stanfield, Tessa Thompson, Jermaine Fowler, Stephen Yun, Danny Glover, Terry Crews, Omari Hardwick, Patton Oswalt, David Cross. And you know what? They all, I don't know if you're supposed to talk about this, but they all did it for scale. Like, we didn't have no money. We didn't have no money. I mean, this movie is gonna be a hit and they'll get paid. They'll, you know, we'll pay you on Tuesday, but they did it because they believed in it. And unfortunately, the way things get whittled down when you're trying to, hoping that somebody's gonna say yes to something, they get whittled down to something that nobody, even the writer, doesn't believe in anymore. And it's only through programs like this and through people who had my back, like on the folks on this film, that we were able to get something done like that. I don't want to tire y'all out too much. After this, we're going to party, and then you can talk as much about it as you want. Thank you so much for this. Wait, did you get me? All right, see you later.